Hey everyone, Dan here, and thought I'd pop back on with another quick video about WandaVision. So, just so you know that I'm going to be talking about things that have already aired. So, if you've not caught up on the show, there's definitely spoilers ahead. Spoilers. So, if you don't want it spoiled or you haven't caught up through episode 3, go away now, come back. But it's not the worst of the spoilers. So, it's not too bad. So if you want to stick around, you might figure it out. Who knows? But I will leave that up to your decision now. I've done my job. So, talking about WandaVision. Now, title of this thing is another possible Marvel Universe character that's shown up in the series already. But it's not the ones that are commonly known. Monica Rambeau, a.k.a. Captain Marvel, a.k.a. Pulsar, a.k.a. Photon. We know she's in the series, and we know that she's Geraldine from episodes 2 and 3. So, not talking about her. I'm also not talking about Agnes, who a lot of people, myself included, believe is Agatha Harkness, the witch that helps Wanda learn to control her powers. But those might not be the only existing characters. There's another one that stood out to me, and it's talking about Dottie Jones. You know, the blonde woman who got off on a bad foot with Wanda. Now, she's not in the first episode, but she's mentioned in the first episode. We see when Mr. Hart is talking to Vision about the dinner and how it could go poorly for him if the dinner goes poorly, and we see Phil Jones being fired. Well, Phil is Dottie's husband. And Dottie is the one who basically made the 5-course meal for Mr. Hart and his wife, and had a string quartet, and it wasn't good enough for Mr. Hart. So that's where we get the first mention of her. The second message of her mention is we actually get to meet her. She's let's see. So meant to click this. That's Monica. Her. She's the one that is kind of running the city, running the town as you want. And Wanda has to get off on a good foot with her, according to Agnes. And it doesn't seem like she does. She's the one that is the first one to say, "for the children," which becomes that creepy mantra through the whole episode that seems to be pushing towards episode 3. She's also the one that first accuses Wanda of being dangerous and being something more than she appears. She's there when the voice breaks through on the radio asking Wanda who's doing this to her, and she breaks the glass and blood comes down her hand. So she's a big, big part of the second episode. Now, she does show up again in episode 3. It's a brief scene when the power goes out. Wanda causes the power to go out. She comes in the room and asks her husband, "Phil, do these earrings make me look fat?" And before he has to answer, the power goes out, and his response is, "Oh, thank God." So, well, anyway, now she's in those scenes, but who is she? Well, the character that makes sense, if you look at her look and the fact she's married to Phil Jones, matches up to a Marvel hero named Arkana. Arkana is a member of the Squadron Supreme. She's a magic user who has the ability to manipulate natural forces of nature. Now, again, in the comics, she's married to Phil Jones. She has 4 kids. As you can see, the hair, the look, it makes sense from that point of view. Emma Caulfield, who's playing this character, playing Dottie, looks like she could play Arkana, which, great. But the question is, why? Why would Marvel put Arkana into an MCU TV series? Squadron Supreme, that she's a part of, isn't that popular. It's somewhat popular. It's basically Marvel's version of the Justice League. But they're about to become more prominent. This week it was announced the Heroes Reborn initiative. Jason Aaron is going to be doing this. And it's the best way to describe it is It's a world where the Avengers and the X-Men don't exist. It's other characters dealing with things. So you've got Venom up there. You've got Juggernaut, Doctor Doom, and you've got Vision or Wanda. I mean, it's weird looking. But if you'll notice in there, the center characters fighting Juggernaut is Hyperion. Then there's Speed Demon. I think it's Speed Demon. No, it's Wizard. Excuse me. Wizard, Dr. Spectrum, Power Princess, Nighthawk. All those characters are the Squadron Supreme. Now, where we don't see Arkana, at least I don't think we see Arkana, it's hard to tell. She is part of the Squadron Supreme, has been from the beginning. So it would make a lot of sense if she comes back as part of this series. She is their version of Zatanna. Though at one point she had a costume that was more reminiscent of Power Girl, as you'll notice here. Actually, here's a better version of it with the way the costume's cut and stuff. But then again, at one point, Power Girl's powers were suddenly magical and tied to Atlantis than it was for anything to do with Krypton. So it's always possible that, someone made that connection too. But Arkana makes a lot of sense. Because if they bring her in and they're introducing bits of the Squadron Supreme, they're basically leaving a tiny little thread that Kevin Feige gets to play with later. Maybe he wants to do his own version of the Justice League movie. Shows that he can do it well. He seems to like doing that. So that's a possibility. But also, you got to keep in mind that we're looking at a series that has magic users. You've got Wanda using her chaos magic, basically, and you've got Agatha Harkness. But what if Wanda goes to Agatha to help her control her powers, and Agatha is living in this small town of Westview with her coven that includes Arkana? And what if, what a lot of people seem to be speculating, what if Wanda is the bad guy in this series? And Arkana has to help take her down. That could be interesting. Now, the name. In the comics, Arkana's name is Arkana Jones, not Dottie. So where does the name Dottie come from? Well, if you've noticed throughout the series, with Agatha Harkness, they turned into Agnes, at least that's the theory. So they're not giving away the names, obviously, so people either have to figure it out or, they can reveal it later. So they needed to give her a different name. Well, there's a lot of references to the Wizard of Oz in this series. There's the Great and Powerful Oz movie on the marquee during the opening of episode 3. There's just a lot of feel to Wizard of Oz moments. Well, Dottie is a short nickname for Dorothy. And if you think about it, if Arkana does have to help bring down Wanda, she'd probably team up with Vision, who could be considered a Tin Man. So maybe they're going to throw a bucket of water on Wanda at some point. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it, is that maybe we've already been introduced to another Marvel hero in this series. Maybe we're looking at, Arkana here, and it could be that that's how we're going to get out of this one. We could be getting that character. Again, she looks more like Zatanna here. But it'll be interesting to see how this progresses. We'll get another episode on Thursday night, Friday morning, and we'll see where that goes. I have a feeling this next episode, though, is going to change. It's going to be told from Monica's point of view, so we get a different look at it. Because there's footage we've seen that seems to show her being blasted through the town and through a wall and stuff like that we didn't see in episode 3. So I think it's possible that she's going to be reporting in, and we're going to find the episode 4 is going to be from her point of view, or at least part of it. And it would be good to establish stuff like We still haven't met Kat Dennings, or they haven't brought in Kat Dennings' character of Darcy. We haven't really seen the Agents of S.W.O.R.D. with Jimmy Woo. So it's a good time to do that as we're getting near the halfway point. 9 episodes, so episode 4, we're into the second act at this point. So it's time to change things up. But keep in mind of Arkana, I have a feeling that, and it would also make sense that she's the one that saw through Wanda, that she's the one that sees through this if she's another magic user. Catherine Hahn's character of Agnes seems to know what's going on and seems to be trying to manipulate things. It would also make sense if Arkana knew as well. So, all right, that's it for tonight. We'll find out more on Thursday, so looking forward to that. I'll do a review of that Friday. And then on Sunday night, the next episode of Pop Go the Writers will be on at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have Rosalinda Diaz and Dan Taylor back talking about episodes 3 and 4. We're doing this bi-weekly as we're building up an audience. And we'll be joined by comic book writer and comic store owner Mike Wellman from Atomic Basement Comics in Long Beach, California. He's also the writer of Mac Afro and Guns A-Blazin' with artist Rafael Navarro. So join that. Mike is just an absolute hoot. So he'll be fun to talk to, and we will go about the series and answer questions. And just, if you've got any questions you want us to tackle on it, drop me a line. Or even if it's other topics of entertainment, I can throw it in there. Right now, episode 1 was very long. We're going to shorten it up, focus just on WandaVisions 3 and 4. But if you have any questions, feel free. We'll try to address them during the episode. All right. I appreciate you guys paying attention. I hope you're all having a good evening and a good week. And we'll talk to you soon.